Thoughts on this little mission so far?
Coffee? The whole of the website having been constructed by Chris so far, I thought it was time I nailed my colours to the mast and introduced myself as the senior member of the team with vast experience and sense to bring to this mission. So here are my credentials for joining the Yukon assignment. We have to go back quite a long way, as I was brought up in coastal areas, and I'd just like to introduce you to the reasons why I'll be able to make such a contribution to this highly professional team.
Okay.
So, having been brought up on a diet of cool, calm assessment of problems and the necessity for innovation and improvisation, this is one of my early starts in the whole staying afloat game. So, in the Yukon, provided I can find a few oil cans and carve a couple of poles and plait a fair length of twine, if the boat sinks, we should be okay. So, having established these early credentials, you'll understand that there is a great deal I have to offer to this scheme. I suppose I could add the fact that from a reasonably early age I spent much time upon the briny in a foldable, collapsible canoe which could seat 3 or 2 and a dog, and I have evidence to prove that as well. So here we are, by the miracles of modern technology. I wouldn't like the audience to feel that I was out of touch. Is something called a colour slide. Now, some of you will have heard of this historically, others may even have experienced them. This one's a bit spotty, a little bit ancient, but there is evidence of my attributes for the Yukon assignment. I'm in the driving seat in this case. I haven't been ever since. Here is a further. There. By evidence of a sailing boat, it proves that this is genuine sea and not a bluff. So, having rid ourselves now of the scourge of technology, the fans having stopped in the ancient Rolly projector, I have to accept what my son has said in his introduction to the assignment, which is that my whitewater experience is slightly limited. If any of you have been following the website, you will have seen that I've become accustomed to swimming in white water. And if you are remotely interested, I hope there will be new footage of our latest training run. I've come back from A&E, and hopefully in a couple of weeks' time my thumb will be back to normal and I'll be able to hold a paddle. My feelings about the river he threw me into are probably reasonably stated as I stood on the bridge looking at said river. As I waited for 2.5 hours for the team to come back, having left me on the banks of said river, I spoke to many people, one of whom simply said, "Ah, your son. Oh, so this is revenge for things you've done in the past." It's not that I mistrust him. However, there have been 1 or 2 occasions in the past when, as an 11-year-old, he and I and a bearded collie strayed up a rock face that I thought was probably going to get us up to Scarfell, and we ascended this rather dodgy scree slope, helped by German sausage and Kendal mint cake, and found ourselves going up the back of Mickledore Ridge, if anyone knows what that is. But we got there. I don't know why he would have been concerned. I didn't quite recognise the path, and he did point out, even at 11 years old, that the map was upside down. So perhaps he is indeed trying to get his own back in some obscure way. I taught him a lot about hand-to-hand combat, because survival is very important in these conditions. He recovered from the quarterstaff training after a while. I'm still pondering that one. Then there was Anglesey. Now we are talking heavy-duty canoeing. Well, no, kayaking, sea kayaking. As you've seen, I was an experienced sea kayaker. I can't remember how old Chris would have been. Yes, I can. He was 4, because it was my daughter's birthday at the time. And I thought a bit of sea experience would be good, and we had borrowed a 2-seater sea kayak and went out into a bay in Anglesey, and I did what I used to do in Jersey, which is go beyond the point because it's more interesting. It got a little turbulent. We didn't actually have any life jackets or anything like that because you don't bother about those things back in 1980s. And he remembers this occasion. Don't know why. However, he's taking me to Canada, to the Yukon, where there are grizzly bears and packs of wolves and white water and starvation, mosquitoes of a considerable size. And this man on the banks of the Baal might have something in what he said. Revenge for times past. I'll think about that.